I got your 6!
Scheiße!
The enemy's lost half its reinforcements. Well done, boys.
Combat notes. Bombing. See that bomb falling to the ground and immediately taking out a dozen soldiers? There are many flights with hard training that made this happen. In this combat note, we'll try to teach you how to use bombs and rockets effectively. Basics. Enlisted has multiple aircraft classes, and even fighters have suspended weaponry. You can check your arsenal by clicking on the aircraft in your squad. Here it is, your forward-firing and suspended armament. Bombs and rockets on the wings are mostly launched in pairs. This is done to keep the mass of the aircraft in balance. Hunting the enemy. Use Alt-E1 and a bit of team play to get the key advantage, intel from your allies. Your comrades can see the enemy better than you do and will place a marker on crowds of infantry or even enemy armored vehicles. We discussed how the markers work in last week's combat note. Can't get markers? Not a problem. You've got one more trick, tracers. They stay visible even at a long distance, and it makes all the sense to attack a point that spits a lot of fire. To avoid friendly fire, wait until the markers appear above your allies. That usually happens about a kilometer away. Bombing. 45 degrees. This is the minimum angle where your bombs and rockets stop being random sprays and become precise fire at enemy clusters instead. 45 degrees is the position where the bombs you drop with enough speed are within your screen. And that's the main rule. Bomb spread in a low-altitude dive is enormous, while in a vertical dive, you have too little time to adjust your aim and stop diving. Right. For a 45-degree dive, 500 meters are enough. Speed is just as important, and the main goal here is to slow down the fall. The higher the speed, the greater the dispersion. Even the slightest movement of the stick will send your bombs to the wrong place. Don't be shy about using your wing devices. Flaps allow you to drop speed and get better maneuverability at low speeds. Attack aircraft usually have an air brake as well. Still, taking the thrust down to 0 is not a good idea. Keep it around 40. The engine takes a long time to increase RPM, and when you spot something resembling a concrete block in front of your face, you'll need your thrust ASAP. Lastly, how do you determine the right angle? Just look under your feet. When your target or a strategic point is near the pedals, you can start diving. Okay, that was some theory. Now let's practice. 45 degrees, an enemy tank, here we go. Keep the target at the bottom of the sights, like that. When the altitude reaches 150 meters, pull your nose up and drop the bombs as soon as the target leaves your sights. If you did it right, the bombs will fall within a few meters of the target. But don't worry if you missed. It's only a matter of practice. Keep in mind that bombs have a fuse delay, so sometimes it's better to throw them a few dozen meters ahead of a moving target. The enemy is unlikely to react on time anyways. Rockets. Some aircraft are capable of carrying rockets. Overall, the way you use them is pretty similar to bombs, but there's a few details to keep in mind. Rockets fly in a straight line for only a fraction of a second after launch, and then begin to fall in an arc. So it's better to use them at close range if you want to ensure that you hit the target. We're going to attack in the same way, at 45 degrees, putting our target a bit lower than the sights, like this. This way we can compensate for the fall of the rocket. Hold your fire until you're around 300 meters away from the target. Unlike bombs, rockets explode immediately upon impact, so the enemy has no chance to escape. Most aircraft have rockets suspended under their wings, so when you launch them, they fly to the sides of your crosshair instead of dead in the center. Remember that when you're attacking ground vehicles. If you want to be extra efficient against heavy vehicles, attack at a sharp angle, so that they get hit from above where their armor is thin. As a final piece of advice, do not dump all your ordnance at once. First, you're going back to resupply anyway, and you can always finish what you started on the way back. And second, if your first drop hit a ditch and brought no frags, wouldn't it be better to waste just one bomb and not two? That's it, pilots. Time to go to your cockpits and have some practice. Good luck hitting your targets!